What's going on, everybody? What's up, B? How are you doing today?
Good, man. What's going on with you?
Good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Getting ready to watch some football tonight. Pretty excited
Oh
about
yeah,
that. Yeah.
I got football practice right during it, so I'm bummed.
Oh man, that sucks. Are
The
you gonna
kids,
tape it? You
kids.
should tape it at least.
Nah, my wife won't watch games taped, so
Oh really?
I'll
Yeah.
probably put it on my phone as I'm coaching and then catch the second half at home. But I don't know if you
I hear
saw
you.
some big signings today and all that. T.J. Watt got signed finally.
Oh
Gus
yeah.
Edwards
Yeah.
went down with the ACL tear,
Saw that.
and then
Two Ravens players.
yeah, the next play, another defensive player. I forget his
Wow.
name. Marcus Peters. Is that who it was?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
that's crazy.
not good. Not good.
Yep. We're just waiting for some people to roll in, and Classy should
Absolutely.
join us soon. But yeah,
Yeah,
like
I'm gonna pop this up on my browser at my channel to tell people to come hither.
cool, cool. Yeah, man, you guys have such a busy week planned. I'm gonna ask you all about it. Lots of cool stuff planned, right? In New York.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably gonna be chill. Like, it'll probably be fun, but it probably won't be. I mean, I don't have anything planned more than just to hang out
Yeah,
on. We're gonna hang out, but yeah, it'll be fun, man. Should be good. Good times.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
I mean, obviously the TV shootout is the reason we're going.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We'll get into that.
for sure.
Cause I think a lot of people are not sure like when it is and what day it is, and my mic's quiet apparently.
No,
Wait,
you
hold
sound normal. I don't know.
on.
It sounds normal to
I
me.
was just looking at chat. It says my mic's quiet.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it's not super loud, I guess. Maybe
All right,
I
is
can't
this
show
better?
people.
I don't know.
I turned my volume down, so maybe that'll help
Okay.
because it sounded fine to me, but I had it cranked up. Maybe mine is super. I can turn mine down too. Oh yeah, I have mine on 4.
Yeah, yours sounds super loud usually. Like you can hear the
Yeah,
background sometimes.
yeah, it's because I'm a loud dude.
It's all good. I'm like the opposite of that. So it's a good contrast, I guess. Um, so yeah, like what's up to everybody in the chat? I just want to say hi to everybody that's in the chat right now. David Whelan, what's up, everybody? Anthony D, Tom W, and DC. A little louder, please. All right. I'll see what I can do about that. Uh, Ninja Reverso, hello. Tech Med, Rainer Richter, welcome back. It's good to see you again.
What's going on? I got a
Trumpet
little
Mary,
food going on too. I have
what's
to
up?
eat, so I'm gonna scarf while you talk.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, if you ever have to mute your mic or something, no big deal. I could try to talk, you know. Um, yeah, I just the way that I'm looking at this today is really it's just going to be sort of an open Q&A, sort of just hanging out, uh, getting ready, everybody ready for that shootout. Talk about some of the things that are going on in the TV world. I guess a lot of people are really wondering about the X95J still, you know, and a lot of people have different opinions on that. Ratings said something about it. I don't know if they publicly released their information yet or if that's just a preview. But I've been seeing a lot of that around, so I don't know what you know about that yet.
Yeah, they have their review is up on their website now,
Okay,
and it just didn't
pull that up.
score as high. I mean, it's an 8.2 out of 10 for general use,
Yeah,
which is a good TV.
yeah,
I
that's
think
not
that's
bad.
right where the X950H was last year. You know.
Right, that's not bad at all. Here, I'll pull it up. Let's see. Make sure I do this right. Share
It might
screen.
be just lower. I'm not sure. I don't think it was. I think last year the Hisense TV outscored the Sony, but try to tell your average consumer to go buy the Hisense H9G or UHG versus the Sony, and most consumers will opt for the Sony, knowing that the
Yeah,
brand is more reputable,
right.
reputable.
Okay, I'm gonna switch over to that. Let's see. I'm gonna add it to the stream. So yeah, this is the X95J review. Let me see if I can zoom in on it a little bit. How's that? Everybody see that in the chat? We're gonna look at some of the stuff that they're saying on here and see if it kind of lines up to what everybody else was saying. Because I've seen some things on the forums. I try not to look too much about the forums because the forums are all over the place. But apparently people are like upset about the blooming aspect. And come on, it's an LCD TV. What do you expect with that, you know? I haven't seen an LCD TV that hasn't had blooming. Like even the QN90A at off angle has a little bit of blooming, but so far that one's been the best, right? So I don't know. It's definitely a subjective thing when people review TVs. There's going to be different experiences across the board, and for real world content, how much are you watching like OLED demos all the time? You know, I think the biggest thing that matters is the black bar test, and as long as it passes the black bar test, I think that's what most people should really care about. You know.
Agreed.
Yeah. So let's check out chat.
The X95J is not an IPS panel.
Nope, not.
And yeah, someone else had said something else too. I don't know. Maybe someone said I'm making them hungry.
Is the A95J the best TV? Is there an A95J? Is that a European model?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think maybe he meant the X95J.
The A90, maybe the A90J.
Yeah, well, the A90J is the best image that I've seen personally. It's very impressive. There is no A95J, but that would be an interesting TV. Like you just combine the two.
Yeah.
Oh man, good stuff. All right, 85-inch 95J versus a 80-inch 77 at Black Friday. Size versus picture quality, only 100 apart on Black Friday. Light controlled room. So this is the situation he'd be presenting to us. And I think I always go with the bigger TV usually when they're close like that. And it really just depends on if you like OLED or LCD. Because you're not going to convince somebody that likes LCD that OLED is all of a sudden just going to be their favorite TV. And same thing, you're not going to convince somebody with an OLED that an LCD TV is just going to all of a sudden be their favorite TV. It's two different technologies, and they excel in different things, and they have weaknesses. Like,
yep.
That's it's really as simple as that. When you look at the size versus, you know, the actual picture quality, I think they're pretty close. You know, it's just LCD versus OLED at that point. So personally, I think I would rather have the bigger TV, but I don't mind LCDs. I know there's some people that just hate LCDs and they can't stand it and they don't want to see an LCD TV, which is understandable if that's not what they like. So
yeah, it would be tough for me. It'd have to be price, and I said that in my review with the X95J that I would have to. Man, it would be a tough call to one of those. That's like one of those 50-50 decisions. 8-inch size versus a better contrast of the OLED. I would probably. It'd be tough.
Yeah.
Tough decision.
Looks like Classy is here. You ready, Classy? Give the thumbs up if you're ready to be added. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah. What's up, Classy? How are you doing today? Let me not block you on the screen right now with the comment.
No problem.
There you go. How are you doing today?
All right. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I know you guys are getting ready for that trip.
Yep.
You don't have to go that far, but
Well,
Brandon and
I gotta
FOMO
drive
do.
it.
They have to fly. So
He's driving.
Yep.
yeah, what are you like?
That's a good
90
hike.
minutes away?
Huh?
You 90 minutes away? You said?
I'm 8 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, 8 hours. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
He's in Ohio, man. He's got to drive all the way across
Right,
Pennsylvania.
right,
That's
right.
the worst.
Yep.
Pennsylvania is
That's
like
just
10
where you live.
hours straight.
It never ends.
That's actually a pretty crazy drive, actually. Wow.
Yeah. I
A
drove
lot of
8
trees.
hours. Yeah. I drove 8 hours down to Tennessee, 8 hours back last weekend. Now I got to drive 8 hours there and 8 hours back.
Yeah.
I've driven. So I lived in Wisconsin, and it was like you're like halfway from Wisconsin to New York. So I've done that before.
Mm-hmm.
The end of Ohio is like halfway.
Man, one time I went like down to West Virginia, came back, immediately went to New York, then to Boston and Salem, upstate New York, down to not Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, back to New York, then back to Ohio. It was like
Dude.
6,000 miles in like 2 weeks.
What were you
That's
doing?
wild.
Just visiting friends and family and just going on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. That is
A lot of
cool.
driving though.
Yep.
That is a lot of drive.
I drive 300 miles every day, so to me, driving's just like
Not too bad. As
everything.
long as you get something done, right?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay, so did I miss anything? I see you have the X95J thing up.
Yeah, we're just
We're
talking
just
about
talking about the
the,
expectations, and it's
Mhm.
it's kind of where I thought it would be. I mean, I don't think it surprises me. How about you?
No, I've been saying from the beginning that this was not going to get good numbers, but it's the
Yeah.
processing that is the improvement year over year, and you can't put a number on that.
Right.
And also, what we're seeing now is people are upgrading from their 5-year-old TVs or whatever when blooming wasn't an issue because they didn't have local dimming, or they had early local dimming that had different kinds of algorithms and stuff. And so it's like you have the X95J, the QN90A, the QNED 90, and maybe the Hisense UAG. Those are your options for a high-end LCD. Every one of them is going to bloom. If you don't have that expectation going in, then you're going to get disappointed, and then you just go OLED. Like that's your
Yeah.
choice. I mean, a lot of people comparing it to the last couple of years of stuff. Well, I mean, yeah, you can get the 950H right now, but how much longer?
Right.
I mean, it's not like you can go buy the 900E or whatever one, the 930E, whatever it is that people like from a few years ago anymore. So I just, and then a lot of people are just throw on a local dimming test, and of course you're going to see blooming on it. That's the point of it, to see the blooming. But in
Right.
real content, you're not going to really see it.
Yeah, and then to be honest with you, like a TV from a few years ago, how realistic is it going to be better than the, X95J? Because people are always forgetting about the processing that goes into the TVs, and the picture quality just gets better and better every year. So everybody that says, "Oh, this TV was so much better 5 years ago," I have to question that because it's usually not the case, and they're just looking at like the numbers and
Yeah, I
not
think-
really the picture quality.
Yeah, I think people just have a I love the KS8000. I thought it
Mhm.
was an amazing TV in 2016, but when I put it up against anything today, I'm sorry, but it falls apart. It's not as good.
Right.
It may get brighter, it may not have blooming, but it doesn't have the processing or other advancements that we have today.
Yep. Really quickly, before we continue, I just want to shout out Travis Sylvania for the super sticker. Thank you so much. And TechMed Rainer Richter for the super sticker. Also, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, continuing on about the X95J and just kind of having your expectations a little bit too high on that. Like, I think from the get-go, I'm sure it's not just you. I remember everybody kind of saying like, don't get your hopes up about this TV. But like we kind of had our expectations tempered with the Chinese review that came out. Like we had high expectations, because of rumors and stuff. But then we saw the Chinese reviews, so we were brought down a little bit. So I don't know, man.
I mean, from the beginning, I was expecting it to be second to the QN90A and maybe even lower.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised by how close its actual real-world content performance was to the QN90A while being more accurate.
Right.
Again, the QN90A is still the stat monster. It still gets brighter, gets darker, handles blooming better, but it just has other issues. So you have to pick the trade-off that you want when you're picking these TVs. None
Yeah.
of them are going to be perfect. No TV will ever be perfect because how would they stay in business?
Yeah. I agree. Like, and I just think that if you overanalyze the LCDs too much, you're always going to find a problem. It doesn't matter what you do. The technology is not built for that. Like, it's just not. Like, you can go and you can nitpick OLEDs, and it's really hard to do because of the technology. But LCDs, it's one of those things where you're going to have those picture quality issues. You're going to have those blooming issues. You're going to sometimes even have dirty screen effect, from panel to panel. But when it comes to an LCD versus an OLED, like technology wise, it's not close. Like OLED's going to beat that. Doesn't mean that it's always going to have the best picture quality for you. And I think that's where people get really confused and, say that OLED has this unfair advantage and everybody loves OLED. But I think that it's just not that cut and dry. It's not that black and white.
Yeah, LCD things that it's good at. OLED has things it's good at. It's just anyone who thinks they're going to buy an LCD today and not have blooming, just save yourself the hassle and get an OLED if you're worried about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Oh. Okay. I don't like that view.
All right, so I'm on
Yeah.
my new camera too. I don't
Oh,
know if
nice.
it looks any different.
You know,
Yeah, it looks
720p looks like
Yeah.
720p.
Is that a wider lens though?
Yeah, it looks cool.
It's a full frame, so technically,
There you go. Same lens but wider. Yeah,
yeah. Well,
you can see it. You can see it's wider.
It's the
Yeah,
kit,
but
right?
one of the first, yes, the kit lens. One of the first videos, actually, I'm going to try if I have time tonight, so I have something to put up before I leave. Is do a camera comparison. You know,
Yeah.
how much does the camera matter? But
Yeah, no doubt.
I was telling Classy I got stuck trading crypto today, so I didn't get a video finished.
I heard you were looking at Shiba Inu coins, right?
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't just looking at it. I was trading it, man.
Oh my god.
I traded it like three times up and down the volatility today, and made a good chunk of change. So it was worth it.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. I might have to get into that one day.
I mean, you can't play it like that normally. I mean, you got to
Right,
trade with
yeah.
leverage, and
Right.
it's pretty complicated. I just got lucky because I saw it. It was just listed at Coinbase today, so it was like
Ah.
all over the map. It went up 700% at one point.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I'll never understand that. I'm gonna need like Techno Dad and you to like walk me through crypto one day.
I don't know if I'd be walking you through it. I'd probably just be confusing you.
Gotcha.
I'm just a
My,
numbers person.
my friend, so his brother owns Stone Age Gamer, which is like one of the biggest classic game stores in the country. And my friend does like the HDMI mods for the systems, whatnot. But he's been into crypto from the beginning and has had, I don't know how many dozens of cards mining for the last decade.
Dang.
He's selling everything, selling his house, getting an RV, him and his family. He's just selling everything, retiring. He's got the money now, and they're just going to go travel until whenever.
Nice. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, so like I was like touching on that subject though. I want to touch on this because I think there's a lot of people that kind of think that certain reviewers or certain people hate LCDs, and I think that's just such a misconception. I don't think anybody really hates LCDs. They just can't put up with some of the, downsides with it sometimes. But they have to point that out because they're reviewers at the same time. If they don't point that out, then, what are they doing? So,
I mean, I think there's different definitions of what a TV is to people.
yeah.
You have people who just have the TV in their sunroom playing news and sports all day. You have people who use it just to watch whatever on Netflix and just binge watch TV shows or whatever.
Mhm.
And then you have people who try to make a home cinema. And I mean, LCD is good at those first two things, but
Right.
an LCD is not good for a home cinema compared to other technology.
100%. Yeah. Like personally, I think that I will usually choose an LCD that's brighter for gaming. That's just a personal preference of mine. But then I'll play some of the darker games and I'll say, well, I wish I had an OLED in this sense. But there is not a perfect TV, and so I think everybody's looking for that perfect TV that just doesn't exist.
Yep, and like I said, that they will never make it. If you pay attention to things, first they'll focus really hard on getting the black levels, and then they get them there, and then they're going to focus on brightness, but now they're sacrificing the black levels to do that. They're going to focus on the viewing angles and sacrifice your color or your blooming and stuff. They trade stuff back and forth every 5 years or so for whatever is popular at the time. And because if they fix everything at once, then no one's going to buy TVs again. Like they'll just buy the TV until it dies. They don't want that. They want someone to buy it every few years.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna move on to some questions. You got anything to add to that, Brandon?
No, I'm with you guys. I'm not a huge. I'm probably the least of a fan of LCD TVs, but I have to say, like, certain things bother me, and it's like Classy had said, it depends on what it is that bothers you. And for me, it's more of the dirty screen effect and some of the blooming from the IPS style panels where they're like, it's more blotchy. When it's a more general, like I like the KS8000 from Samsung as well. I have that TV, and it's lifted across the whole screen, and it's older, but it doesn't have any dimming zones. And then this X95J also has smaller or larger dimming zones that aren't as aggressive.
Yeah.
And for me, the only downside that I did see and that I kind of commented was more of a black uniformity issue, where when it like goes from dark screen to white screen, I kind of saw it like kind of fade, like not uniformly. So that was the only other thing. But besides that, I mean, I'm OLED for the most part, and I know people have been commenting about OLED, QLED. I do see the high side of like a QN98 TV, but I also had one. I had a Q90T and a QN98 that were both very dirty in the screen in the middle, and it was like when I was moving left and right, you could see that easily. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember your review on the Q90T. You actually seemed to like it a lot, especially when you were looking at the Avengers movie. You said that it like really just stuck out to you.
Yeah, definitely. The bright scenes stick out. The darker scenes kind of look the same or worse than OLED, but the bright scenes are, it's noticeable. You can see there's a huge difference. Yeah.
Right. So it comes down to just what you want, right? Like your personal preference in a TV.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. There's a couple of questions in chat. Actually, you hold up. We got Stop the FOMO with the super chat. Thank you for stopping by and super chatting. He says the TCL R646 performs second to the QN98 in terms of blooming. I'm so impressed. Currently beats out the U8G and U7G. Bravo TCL. Nice. I didn't see. Was there reviews out on that, or you have?
No,
that?
he has one.
He has one now. Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. I was trying to get one, but there's no way I could fit it in before New York, so I'll wait until I get back. But
I've been trying to check Best Buy for them. I haven't found it at all. Yeah, that's awesome.
I just have a feeling it's going to be a decent improvement over the Hisense and land in that middle ground between the Hisense and the QN90A, and that's going to be the one to beat for the budget range.
Really, that'd be an upgrade. I mean, like last year it wasn't there. So, with the mini LEDs, you'd think they could get it there, but last year I didn't think it was as good as the Hisense, and it also wasn't HDMI 2.1 enabled.
That's true.
That was another thing.
Yeah, see, this is what I think is, last year was their first year with it, but they were also like the first with it. So they have a second generation now to improve on it. So if they can actually do that, and they can pull ahead of like Hisense and
yeah, like I saw they upped the price on it this year a little bit, so I was hoping that you would see an improvement, and not just like a switch to Google and an HDMI 2.1 boost. But yeah, that's great to hear, because it sounds like it's got an upgrade for sure. And I think that's what a lot of people are wondering. Is it going to be the same panel pretty much, or nope, doesn't seem like that's the case.
Yeah, legitimately that TV has the chance of finally replacing the KS8000.
Nice.
So if as long as the gaming performance is as you would want it to be, and it doesn't have any of the normal MediaTek problems.
Yeah, TCL is pretty good with gaming usually, from what I saw. That's awesome. Good to hear. I did not.
Just got an update. Just got an update for the Broncos. Noah Fant is now no longer injured. He is listed as healthy.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, I like that too. I hope him and Bradley Chubb play. I know they were both not practicing this week, but they are now, I think. Let's see. There's some questions in chat. Let me get to them.
Real quick, FOMO may have just killed the TCL. He's saying that the motion is pseudo fixed to SOAP. You can't find a way to disable it. If it's forcing soap opera, then it's immediately out for me.
Oh no. Well, I like soap, so it's in for me. What's your opinion on the motion, Brandon? What do you think? Do you like soap effect, or?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the. I like it as minimal. I kind of need to be in the middle. Yeah. I don't like it on like the highest, but I do set it like on the Sony's at 2 out of 3 on the motion flow. So on the higher side or in the middle of 1, 2, and 3. I don't, when it's an OLED can stutter because of the quick refresh rate. I'm not a big fan of that either. So kind of have to balance it.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the way that Samsung does it. They don't always have the best motion, but I love how customizable it is. Like you can go, set your judder and your blur limits. Like I love that. For football in general, like what I use on my Samsung is I use blur at 10 and judder at 0, and it just looks like you're watching a fast-paced football game, like you would be there live. And I love that customization that you have from that, because from movies you could set it a whole totally different way. But I don't mind a little bit of soap,
If the football, you can't watch football on the OLEDs with it motion flow on, because
right.
It kind of like beats up the picture, especially when the players are smaller. When they're larger, it doesn't matter, but when they're like small and you see all like 11 football players on each side, it really gets choppy on any TV. But definitely the OLEDs, and even with the good Sony processing.
Is that's your 48-inch right there?
Yep. Yeah, I'm just showing how much extra real estate you get.
Oh man.
With a 48 4K as a monitor.
Yeah, that's gonna be my monitor setup soon. It's just a matter of getting another TV, which might be the TCL. Get that in my bedroom, and then have a new desk. So we'll see. We'll get that soon, hopefully. Let's see. There's a couple of chat questions. Best way to do it, guys, is to @ me or super chat. That's the best way for me to see it. Otherwise, everything just kind of blends in, and I miss a lot of stuff. We got Arturo, 65G1 or a 65A90J for movies, sports, and gaming, but he's not a hardcore gamer. Ooh.
I would just say, even if you're not a hardcore gamer, if you think seeing the brightness level change in the game is going to bother you or distract you, then I would say G1. But if you're not going to be sensitive to that, then the A90J.
Yeah.
Also, if you're interested at all in Dolby Vision gaming, then you have to go with the LG.
Good point. Got anything to add, Brandon?
I would choose the A90J. Yeah, I don't like the G1 because of its like mounting, and it just
right. Yeah.
There's really no benefit to me to get that TV over like just the C1. It's a mild improvement, but yeah, I mean I think that the A90J is a really good TV, and when you're watching like Dolby Vision specifically, it's so bright,
Yeah, I was very impressed with the A90J. I haven't seen the G1, so I can't comment on that, but I have seen the C1, and the A90J outperformed the C1 like for movies and sports by a lot. And for gaming, it was pretty much the same, but you still have those concerns about the brightness dimming down. Though I have to admit, when I tested it and I've performed a few tests on it, I personally didn't notice it. So maybe I just wasn't sensitive to it, or maybe I just wasn't looking for it enough, because I wasn't really looking for it until Classy pointed it out, and at that point I only ran a few tests after that. So it really just depends. That's quite a price difference too, I think. What is that? Still like a $500 price difference?
38 to I think the 65 G1 is still 3, if I'm not
28,
mistaken.
I think.
Yeah, so
Isn't
it's
it
around
$28?
$1,000 difference. Plus you get the warranty if that matters on the G1.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think I would probably pick the A90J if you had the funds for it, especially since you're not a hardcore gamer. So that just a casual gamer, yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to share a screen. Someone asked how this panel cleaned up, so let me show what it was first.
Okay.
Okay, don't show me that again. So that was bad. Like
You want to explain this? Because I don't think a lot.
Yeah,
of people
this is
know.
my 48-inch C1. You can just see the. I'm assuming this is what people refer to as jail bars. This is the first one I've seen where it was equally spaced bars all the way across like this. Like this isn't the normal vertical banding that I've seen. This is much worse. but I've given it about 8 to 10 hours of HDR and then ran a pixel refresher.
Mhm.
And it is now looking like that. So it improved. They're still there. I think maybe 50 hours or so, do another pixel refresher. It should pretty much be gone.
Yeah.
But
So my question for regular content, did you notice it?
yeah, 'cause especially as a monitor.
Yeah.
Um, other than that, there's no pink tint on this at all.
Right.
No dead pixels. The brightness was about 720 nits out of the box, so I can probably get a little higher. So that's why I really wanted to clear this up before just returning it or exchanging it.
Mm-hmm. Don B, this is the 48-inch C1 that we're looking at here.
Yep. And this is the older panel, the WBC panel.
Yeah. Cool. And Shamar, I think you're right. I think the X95J is definitely worth it over the 950H if you're finding them and you're like, which one should I get? You should definitely get the one with the XR processor. It's proven to be a lot better than last year's processor that they used in it. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, last year's processor was the processor from the year before, right?
I believe so. I think it's
Well,
a variant. It was the X1 family of processors. There was X1
Yeah.
Ultimate, X1. I think there was a third one, maybe.
Right.
There's just X1, X1 Ultimate. I think wasn't 2 years ago the X1, or then the Ultimate was last year. Just the top couple TVs. I don't know.
Yeah,
Could be wrong.
I know the 900H had the base X1, and then the 85J and below this year has that X1.
Mm-hmm. And the A9G was the ultimate, right?
I would assume so,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, right now the 950H is drastically cheaper, but the 95J has plenty of room to drop. So I'm sure it will soon.
I think this is a question for you, Brandon. He said, for the 83 A90J, how's the pixel density look and the screen uniformity for 83 inch?
I didn't notice a difference on either. I mean, well, the uniformity was actually better on my 83 than the first 65 I had. The 83-inch uniformity was fantastic. And then, yeah, I just I don't notice a pixel density issue. I mean, come on, it's got 8 million pixels, you know.
Right.
So I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Or
That's
maybe it's
cool.
more. I don't even know how many pixels it's got. It's got a lot of pixels, but I think it looks amazing. I absolutely love the 83-inch. I haven't done a ton of comparisons between that and the C1, but I think that the A90J looks a lot brighter and bigger. It's a very wow. It's got the wow factor. It's a nice TV.
Yeah. So you have the 65 A90J as well, right? Or you had
Yes.
it?
I have the A90J. That's my bedroom TV. I have two of them. Yeah.
All right. So in comparison to that, when you're getting in normal viewing distance, are you noticing it to be a little bit more blurry or fuzzier on the 83 inch? No.
No,
Because
that's
I
what
know
I'm saying,
people
yeah.
say that as the screen gets bigger, you start to feel that a little bit more. So
No, I
that's
don't
why
notice it. Yeah, it looks amazing. Everyone in our family is like, wow, it's a pretty awesome TV.
Cool. Well, there you have it. 2000.
Yeah, going from the 77 to the 48, and I'm sitting this close to it, I can see a sharpness difference. But at
Right.
normal seating distance for movie or TV watching, there's no sharpness difference. Like nothing
Yeah.
that your eyes can see.
Do you think that difference is different on an LCD? Like, do you think you get a softer
Yeah.
effect as you
But
go up
that's-
on an
yeah,
LCD more
because-
so?
Well, mostly just because of the coating and the panel type of an LCD. The clear glass that you get with the OLEDs just makes things look sharper.
Right, but on the flip side, as you go up in LCD, you also get a brighter image. So
I mean, as you go up in size on any TV,
yeah,
you get
right.
you get perceived brightness. The nits are the same, but it's the same thing as having two 60-watt light bulbs next to each other instead of one. You know, you're just expanding the area, or a big bulb versus a small bulb.
Yeah. Let's see. And then Perry Bryan is just shouting us out. Says, you guys helped me buy the best TV I've ever had, the 77-inch AMJ. Awesome. I'm glad to see that. It looks like he's ready for some football. And I saw that Shamar said he's ready to watch some football as well. So am I. Let's see. He said SIV said I bought a 65-inch A90J to replace my 55 LGBX. What an upgrade. Stunning. Wow. That is a big upgrade, actually. Yeah. Going from the BX to an A90J is already an upgrade, but if you add 10 inches to that, you're going to be impressed for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the B10 to the C1 would have been a noticeable upgrade, and then going all the way to 890. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I hear this a lot. I know that I looked at a B series before, and then I got a C series right after that, and I didn't notice a huge difference. Do you think there is I know there is in numbers, but for most people that are just watching the TV, say if they go from a B1 to a C1, what are they really gonna get in terms of the actual picture that they see? Do you think they'll see an upgrade, or?
If they're not side by side, then no.
Okay.
I mean, I can put the 48 C1 up against the A80J, and everything's going to look the same except for the absolute brightest of highlights. That's pretty much
I think the B1 doesn't have the same processor either.
Yeah.
Right.
I know the
different-
A1 didn't. The B1...
The B1 has this the A7 Gen 4. Is that the...
Yeah, that's the step
That's the
down.
step down, right? Yeah.
Yep.
That's the
I think it's a
same,
little-
same processor that's in the
The QNED 90.
QNEDs. Yeah, the QNED 90. So Ratings just did a review on that TV as well, and they measured it to be a little bit more accurate out of the box.
And, yes and no.
Yeah.
It doesn't have so much of the near black crush. But the whole problem with their C1 accuracy measurement is that they check for D65, and these panels are not made to D65. So the grayscale is off, but all the colors are fine.
Yeah, and they said that they saw less banding in the gradients as well.
But I mean, that's
So right here.
yeah.
Excuse me.
So I thought that was interesting. I always find it fascinating when a lower model will get better ratings on ratings. But, you know, that's panel variance as well. You know, they could have just maybe had a bad C1. I think everybody was saying that maybe they had a bad C1 in the first place.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they had the older panel as well. And talking about ratings, like earlier, their X95J review, that is not a TV that the numbers represent. Like you read the numbers, but then a lot of people skip over what they write, and then they're not reading where they say this is the best local dimming they've seen on an LCD. You know, you're not seeing them say that the contrast goes up over 20,000 when they measure it a different way that's better for that panel, but they have to keep the same way they do everything for each TV for the actual scores. But they're saying it gets a lot better than what the scores are showing. It's just people aren't reading those paragraphs.
That's a good point. Yeah, let's see. Shamar Lawrence is a Lions fan. He says, "Go Lions, defend the den." Nice. My dad is a Lions fan, and my brother is too. So I thought that was funny. Hopefully the Jared Goff works out for you guys.
Yeah, people have been crapping on him pretty bad, man.
Yeah. I think unfairly, man. He was so good in his first couple of years. I don't know what happened.
I think it's unfairly. I mean, he may not be the guy for the Rams, but
Stafford's a good quarterback. I don't know. You know, I didn't think getting Stafford was a huge upgrade for the Rams, but I
Right.
guess I don't know quarterbacks that well.
Yeah, no, it seemed like it was just a minor upgrade. Like they're
Oh.
both good quarterbacks. Yeah, you got something
Hey,
classy?
Brandon. So when you had the A80J and you were talking about the screen coding, you only notice that when it's off, right? When it's on, it looks the same as the A90J or any other OLED.
No,
'Cause when
I mean I can know. No, it's definitely got a different coding. I mean, you can notice it the whole time. I mean, it's a different anti-reflective coating. It looks closer to like the X90J than it does the OLEDs. I mean, I know it's in between. It's not exactly the same as like an X90J. It's not like a matte, but it's definitely different. At least the 65 or the 55 or whatever I had, 65. I heard the 77-inch is not that way, but it definitely was different. I noticed it,
Yeah.
and I had all 4 OLEDs, and it was significantly different. It was just noticeable. Not a huge difference, but like not it didn't make it look that bad. You know, it didn't make it look bad in the picture quality, like you're saying. Like I didn't notice it. I noticed it had it, but I didn't. So yeah, I'm kind of getting you guys confused. But it was noticeable, and I think people like that. I like that OLED look where it's a crisp, glassy look. I mean, I'm used to it. I just think that looks cooler. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I went to, when I was in Tennessee, that's what I was doing, was a 65 A80J. Obviously, I didn't have it next to my 77, but just in the little bit of time I spent with it, visually, I didn't see anything that looked off or different really in content. It was only when it was off that you can tell easily anyway. But if they're side by side, then I'm sure you could see some difference. I just don't think it's a reason that people should be concerned of not getting the TV because of that coding.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then YJT99 says, should I be worried about the A80J's constant image retention? I watch a lot of sports and he games 3 hours a day. So, I keep going back and forth on this. I really don't know. I don't think it might have anything to do with burn-in. It could, because, image retention, it sort of happens when the panel heats up, but long-term burn-in effects, I don't think we know yet if it really correlates. And I think that OLEDs in general right now, they're in a really good space where you really won't see too much burn-in. Like, I think that it's pretty rare for most people's use case, especially if as long as you will vary your content, I think you should be fine.
Yeah, it was the C7s were the ones that were getting burn-in
Right.
that people have seen. And that's, since then, they have changed the pixel structure. So they had larger red subpixels. So that's why those burned in with anything that was constant red on the screen.
Right.
Now the red subpixel is a lot smaller. And then this year with the new panels, we have now an even more efficient panel. And I have not seen anyone report burn-in on a C9 or a C10. So there's not enough time to say for sure, but it seems like it would be highly unlikely to get burn-in. And especially with the new panels, the new efficiency, it just lowers the chance even more.
Right. And on top of that, the 7 Series TVs, they only had the pixel shift for the anti-burn-in. Like, that's literally the only technology that they had in there. So now they have a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, this is a really good point. I mean, I think a lot of people are saying this, not just D Nice, that they work their OLEDs. I know a lot of people that use OLEDs as monitors, and they do heavy editing in the same program like 8 hours a day, and they don't have any burn-in. And that just goes to show you, like, you can really push OLEDs before they really start to get burn-in. I think burn-in is something that might happen in a couple of years in the middle of the screen or something, but it's probably rare. I've seen some aspects where if you watch the same, like, sort of content, like where there's a talking head in the middle of the screen, and just like over time you'll see some red, but I think that's more on the older OLEDs, like we were saying. and that's probably why they changed the pixel structure, because they got reports of that.
I know they're not going to stop making OLEDs, so they're going to have to keep figuring out ways to, lower that fear. But I mean, I agree. Like, I would rather have a TV that looks fantastic now. Granted, classy, I'd probably take that monitor back of yours. I don't know if you said you're going to take it back, but if it was continuing to be like that, I probably would have to take it back if it had lines. That kind of thing drives me nuts. For OLEDs, that would be the one thing. But I would rather have a TV look good right off the bat and be a solid TV for 5 years with an absolutely great picture than take a TV with, dirty screen or uniformity issues now, because I'm scared that I might get burned in down the road. I couldn't do that,
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I
That's
think. Sorry, go for it.
I was gonna say, like, that's what I've been saying too. It's like, do you want a 100% guaranteed chance that you have dirty screen or blooming or insert whatever problem here, to avoid a small chance you might get burn-in down the road?
That's only that's one of the things. I mean, there's other things that I dislike about LCDs, or I want from an LCD. If you really need the brightness, I tell people, if you're in a bright room, like I have clients, I can't recommend an OLED if they're going to be watching like sports during the day, or they're watching news programs during the day. If they can't control the light, then they can't. There are other TVs that are less costly, and some people don't need that high-end OLED. There may be, last year a Q80T was a very popular TV. It was still a VA. It wasn't the IPS panel, so it's harder for me to recommend the QN85A this year, because everybody's going to these IPS panels. I'm getting a headache trying to figure out which ones are and aren't.
Right.
Are or not.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I think that choosing an LCD just because you're trying to avoid burn-in would be a mistake. Choosing an LCD because you want the extra brightness, because the situation that you're in, it's probably more of the thinking that you want to take. But if you're trying to get the best picture quality and you're in a darker room and you're avoiding an OLED just because of burn-in, I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice in that sense. So I think less fear is probably warranted on OLEDs, and I think that some people maybe even buy the warranties for OLED burn-in protection that you don't really need that. You might be better off just saving money and putting that into like a sound system.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet that even Best Buy's 5-year warranty, if you get burned in, it will be after 5 years. I'm thinking it's probably 12,000 plus hours before you.
And
that warranty's better for like having an issue. Like a lot of, you can get all kinds of other issues besides burn-in to worry about. You could have just, I've had a guy that just, the screen went wacky. It just had a bunch, like it lost part of the panel, fried out on him. That's more likely than like burn-in or something.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And Brad Smith says, what settings should I use on the G1 for good upscaling and standard? Is that standard definition? Is that what that means? STD?
I guess.
I think so. Thank you for the super chat, though. You got anything to comment on this?
I mean, if you're using any kind of external device and you're not using the internal apps, then it's going to do the upscaling. And then at that point, things like super resolution and whatever don't really work if it's getting a 4K signal, at least not that we've seen on them. So, if you're using the internal apps and you're watching something lower res, then you can turn on super resolution, turn your sharpness up. I think 10 to 15 or something like that is what makes super resolution work okay. But if you're using insert media player here, then just have that outputting 4K and it's fine.
Cool. Yeah, if you have a different like clarification on that, go for it and leave it for us. Shane W says, is the A90J getting VRR? We hope. That's the hope. December is what everybody's hearing. Hopefully. So
The question is, are they getting FreeSync?
right. I mean, FreeSync, it's okay if they get Form VRR, I think. Form VRR works fine.
It'll be fine. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like
it's just for PC people. Like, yeah, FreeSync is gonna really matter for them.
Yeah, they can't get G-Sync because that's a chip that they have to start with, unless they get the G-Sync certified or whatever. That's basically like a using FreeSync with NVIDIA card, whatever. But it's not as good. Yeah, I'm expecting just regular 4M VRR, and I think that'll be fine.
Yeah.
There was something.
TechMed, thank you. TechMed Rainer Richter, thank you for the super sticker. Really appreciate that, man. Go Ryan Fire, right? Isn't that what he said? He liked the Ryan Fire yesterday?
I don't know. What was it? That's funny.
Yeah,
He sent a
Ryan
picture, though.
Yeah, they are.
He sent a picture of us to
Oh,
my
nice.
Instagram. Hold on, I gotta let it dial in. There you go.
That's awesome.
So send a picture of our stream. He's cool. His
That's
name
really
is
cool.
Rainer.
Yeah. One thing I want to do on a live stream one time is like just have everybody send in pictures of their setups, and we kind of just like rate them.
That'd
Not
be cool.
rate
That'd be
them,
awesome. That's a great idea.
Just for fun, yeah. Because I
That's a
I
great
really
idea.
want to see like what everybody's working with. I know you guys have some crazy man caves. Like I've seen some crazy pictures online. Like this one dude had a room. It looked like it was designed as the Bat Cave. He had like the bat suits hanging up, and I was like, man, I wish I could do that. So I know you
We're
guys have
about
some
to
home
move.
theaters, man.
Well, I haven't gotten like, I feel like since I've been doing YouTube, I haven't been able to do anything justice because I had a condo and then I have this house that we're renting. And so like I have been, like I put TVs on the wall, but I didn't want to carve the ceiling up and put speakers in and wire it, you know?
Yeah.
So when I move into like the next house, which we're moving soon, I'm going to put some speakers in. I'm going to get AVR, and then I'm going to get a couple subs, and it's going to start to come together. And I'll just have the 183-inch instead of having the two 55-inch TVs above it because we don't use those at all. It's kind of stupid.
Yeah. What do you think of those subtle speakers, the ones that go in wall, the Sonos ones? Have you ever installed any of those before?
The Sonos or Sonance?
The Sonance. It works with Sonos though, right?
Yeah,
How
the
that works.
Sonance speakers. Those are, well, they have made them, the ohms output or something is supposed to work with the Sonos amp where you can put 4 speakers on it instead of 2. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend that either. But Sonance speakers are good for the money. You can get them like the 8-inch speakers for like $150 per pair sometimes during like holidays and stuff. And those speakers, like the Mag 6s, I believe, something like that, Mag 6R, those speakers are phenomenal for $150 a pair. They are way better than anything else you can get.
Yeah. I was always wondering like how that works. Like, do you hear that in other rooms more because it's in the wall? Do you?
Oh yeah, you'll hear it upstairs. Like if you have a floor above it, you'll hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've considered looking at that stuff like green glue and like, you know, like kind of like the stuff that you can get for car stereos. None of that stuff really works to soundproof. You know, you have to have density. You have to have like multiple layers of plywood to stop that from going up into the attic ceiling to the next floor. So it just depends. I mean, I think a good sound bar can cure most people's problems, you know, because for the most part, how much are you really pounding your living room? You know, like I have a Sonos Arc and it sounds pretty damn good for the most part. And it's $1,800 for a stereo system is not cheap. I mean, people will say in the comments, oh, for $1,800 you can get it, AVR and speakers and all this. But the problem is you can't, you know, wire it up. You can't get the, you know, you have wires laying all over the room and all that kind of stuff. So yes, you can get like 3 fronts and a sub and a solid, you know, solid AVR for that price. But it's tough to make it sound exactly as good as, you know, a Sonos Arc and sub and 2 rears for that price.
Yeah, that's a really good point you make. Like, I think that more people will go for something more practical like a soundbar over an AVR setup just because all those wires hanging around. Some people can't do that in their house, you know. Some people have either wives or girlfriends or even mothers that
landlords.
like, complain about the wires. Like,
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing.
any
Or
sort of
trying to put them
wire-
in the wall too. Like people
Yeah.
will try to have me come over and be like, hey, let's wire all these speakers up. And they got like that thick wire that you get at the, you know, Best Buy or whatever. And so I'm sitting there like, dude, it's not going to work. You have to have like in-wall rated wire. You need to like, you have to cut out all the drywall and make it look clean. And yeah, either that or people rent and it's just not logical to do that. So then it's like, just get a sound bar and deal with it. Save your money, do something else with it. Like you can do a lot with a couple $100 sound bar and subwoofer combination for everybody but the audiophile in your family, you know?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. They're like some people are just like wire detectors too. They see a wire loose or hanging around, they're gonna
Yeah.
yell at you about it. So,
For sure.
for those who have AVR setups and they're like single, just know like once you get that lady in your house, it's you're gonna probably move to the soundbar or something because yeah,
Yeah,
wires
you gotta
are
be
a
careful
no-go.
before you end up with only like a Samsung frame in your living room. You gotta be careful. Go the wrong direction, man.
The
You'll end up
frame
with just
trap.
that TV. Yep, the
Yeah.
frame and nothing else. You can't even see HDR on it.
Oh,
Nah, they're good for
man.
cable, but
Yeah.
if you watch like the Umbrella Academy on some of these TVs, like a Samsung AU8000 or whatever, you can't even see what's going on in those things because they have no they have no ability to you know, I don't know, just the contrast, the dimming, all that. I don't even think they have local dimming on those, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, they can't.
Yeah,
wrap
we
the
get
middle of the
spoiled.
Screen. Mhm.
you get spoiled with OLEDs. You get spoiled. You know, here's a funny thing. I have a funny thing to tell you guys, and the viewers,
Yeah.
our fanboys. No, I'm kidding. I went to the drive-in and I watched Shang-Chi,
Oh, nice.
and it was awful at the drive-in, man.
Oh,
After
man.
having a bunch of OLEDs and stuff, it looks so terrible. It's not in HDR. It's on a dirty ass screen, and it's kind of like people are turning their lights on all the time. The audio in the car sucks. I mean, we enjoy going to drive-in movies, but you can't go to like a good action, like
No.
a Marvel action movie in a drive-in because you can't see it, you can't hear it. It was awful. So I don't even know if that movie's good or not because I know when I watch it on the A90J, it's going to look amazing. So I
Right.
can't even comment on it. It was pretty
Yeah.
good and it looked like crap. So I'm sure it's awesome. It probably gets like 2 stars higher when I actually watch it on like an actual, good TV.
For sure. Like that brings me back to like when I saw Pacific Rim. I saw it at like a dollar theater on base at this military
Yeah.
base. It was like a dollar showing. So I went with my brother and it was the worst theater experience I've ever had. We sat so far back and I was like I can't even like judge Pacific Rim anymore because of that experience. It's like it sucks because that movie's actually pretty cool.
It is a cool movie. It's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I go to the theater, if it's we don't really have an IMAX around here, but we have Cinemark XD, so it's like if it's playing in that, that's how I see it. Period. If it's not, then I go to whichever theater has the best non-XD screen around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we try to avoid the $100, movie going experience with 2 kids. So we
Yeah.
went to the one, it's like $10 per adult and it's $1 for each kid. So we're like $22, and
Right.
it's and we get to sit in our car, which granted our car isn't super comfortable, but the kids wanted to do it, so we took them.
Yeah, I keep forgetting California is different. Here the XD tickets are like $12, and typically you can find deals and discounts and stuff.
Oh yeah, our tickets are like $23, and our IMAX is like $25. Everybody,
Wow.
adults and kids, per seat, and and then you go and you get food, and at that drive-in or at the drive-in, it was like $8 or something like that for popcorn and soda. You go to it's like $20 for that if you buy it at the store. It's expensive,
Yeah.
but I
and
was
that's-
just
That's why Disney can charge like $20 for their premieres at home because people will do that with their kids.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, oh,
Hell yeah.
that's cheaper than going to the theater. I'll pay that. And then like the people that are just chilling by themselves or with one other person, they're like, man, that's expensive.
Yeah, I think
but-
the whole theater industry, after everything that's happened at this point, they need to just move towards the luxury experience where you got the big chair and the dinner and the movie for $30 or $40 or whatever. I think all the
Yes.
other stuff is going to fade away unless it's like the cheap dollar theaters just for people to get out.
Yeah,
But-
sure. All right,
I
here's a
know
super
Hollywood
chat.
wouldn't be stoked to hear that though. I know that they've been pissed off about that.
They're fighting it, but
They don't want all these movies just in Disney Plus, and they're like saying that HBO Max is selling them out. I don't know. Is
Yeah.
Dune going to be on HBO Max, or is it going to be in the theater? I think
Dune
that was a
is.
big one.
Yeah, Dune is
every
going to be on
single
HBO Max.
WB movie for the next year was going to be on HBO.
Yeah, so like that sucks for the people to go in the movie theaters, but I'm stoked to see it on HBO Max on my big ass TV. So
Same. Yeah.
And you don't have people, vaping or stinking or making noise or whatever.
that's true. Like, I'm not going to hate on that. That's a good comment.
Yeah.
More peace and quiet, or coughing on you now that we have COVID.
Yeah. Really quickly, let me get to the super chat. He says,
Sure.
I have a 65-inch CX then I'm looking for a 77-inch upgrade this Black Friday. C1, G1, or A80J seem to be the best choices. Which one would you suggest and why? So you're jumping from a C10 to a 77-inch. Do you like the LG systems? That's what I would ask.
Yeah.
If you like,
That's
if
a
you
good
like
question.
LG,
Yeah.
If you like what you're having with your LG, man, I would go with the G1 personally. But it depends on what you do, and like, are you more of a gamer or are you more of a movie watcher? You split. Like, let us know, and we can kind of break this down a little bit more for you.
And I think the G1, it has a mount that you can mount it on the wall in normal size. Is that how you have it, Classy? That you have it on an actual VESA mount?
Yeah, I have the vase mount that I've had, and I just that's why it's not a concern to me.
Right.
And I would
that's
say for
great
most
for that.
people, ignore the built-in mount and just
Yeah, it
buy a
sucks.
decent
It's pretty
face
bad.
mount. You can get one for a decent price.
Because the G1 looks pretty cool, like on the regular mount. It's very thin,
Mhm.
you know, and so it's a great. And I guess that's
I
why
just-
I discount the mount. I don't like the mount for that reason, but it can be mounted just normal, or it could be put on feet. But it would be kind of them just to include the damn feet. I mean, what's it, like
Yeah.
$10 for them to make the damn feet? But
Another
then-
700.
Yeah, it's insane. Anyways,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah, I just
said
say
he sorry. Go for it.
Okay. No, you read what he said because I'm not seeing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He said he games 10 to 30%. So.
Yeah. A80J will look better for lower quality, upscaled, or older content. If you don't care at all about warranty and you just want the best deal, then the C1. And if you want kind of the balance of everything, that's the G1.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you're not really concerned about the warranty, then don't get the G1. I just like that if you're buying a big TV like that and you get a free warranty with it, it's nice, right? And then you're already getting some improvements with the G1 over the C1. Personally,
And the price drop it had recently really helps its position.
yeah. Personally, if I just gamed 10% to 30% of the time, I'd probably lean towards the A80J just because for most other content, it's gonna look better.
And then little ways up at 646, Darius was asking a question. That's who was in Tennessee that I fixed his TV.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Touch on that real quick.
647. I'm like, I'm like, wait a minute. I had to do the math there.
That's right. Yeah, 346.
Yeah, no, it's good. I got you.
oh man,
There
I'm
we go.
mad. My old school hip hop concert just got canceled in San Diego. Boo.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah,
Who
probably
was gonna be
COVID
there?
related or something. Dude, it was like with a whoop. There it is, guys. What is it? I can't remember what they're called.
Tag team.
Yeah, tag team. No, dude, it's hilarious. Like Young MC, like who else?
Oh,
Trying to
man.
think. Oh, Naughty by Nature.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
That something.
It was supposed to be like an old people concert,
It's pretty
but
funny.
I just got the message they canceled. It was like $20, man. I was like stoked to go to that. It's like an all day event at Belmont Park, which is like a amusement park, like outside the amusement park. So that'd have been dope.
I saw Bone Thugs and Harmony at this shady club in California last year.
Nice.
It was the weirdest experience. I was like, man, this is crazy watching them perform like 20 years later.
Yeah.
Oh.
Were they any good? They sound good still?
That's
or no?
pretty good actually.
Yeah, I like them. I used to listen to that when I was mowing the lawn, man.
Here we go, classy.
Yeah, so Darius has the 65-inch A80J that I calibrated last weekend. So I can go into much more detail about this in a future stream about calibrations and white points. But I calibrated his TV to a different white point than D65.
Mhm.
The way Dolby Vision Dark works is that it's going to convert the content to D65. And then the way that we set up Bright, Dolby Vision Bright doesn't use that algorithm. So I actually discovered this while doing his TV, that only Dolby Vision Dark with a combination of Expert 1 or Expert 2 color temperature will do that conversion. So if you use Dolby Vision Bright or a different color temperature, it doesn't mess with it. So that's why Dolby Vision Bright is going to look like how we set up SDR and HDR. and Dolby Vision Dark is going to be just a touch slight warmer, because that's the difference in the white point that we used.
Yeah. Let's see.
There was a couple maybe one super chat left, I think. Yeah.
Let me find it.
Yeah. Teobi Silva, second one.
Oh, this one right here.
Yep.
Also noticed the 77-inch G1 is out of stock. Yeah, that's always out of stock. It seems like.
It's always in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah. Would it be worth waiting for Black Friday or get it at the soonest restock?
As far as I've heard, in the next week to 10 days or so, there should be another shipment going out. So if you're interested in it, and it just got the price dropped to $4,000, here's the cool thing. You buy that TV, if you buy it at Best Buy, that's going to make you an Elite Plus member at Best Buy based on the price of it. That means you have 45 days of price protection.
That's true.
So if it would drop in price for the next 45 days, you can get it credited.
And that's a good thing to have because, normally you get 14 days, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it 14?
Yep.
Yeah, I've been an Elite member because I buy stuff for people and myself, and I don't know what I would do if it wasn't 45-day return period because I couldn't deal with 14. That's a short time period.
Yeah. I wasn't Elite Plus this year, and then I bought that A90J to review, and then I took it back, and I'm still an Elite member. I'm still an Elite Plus member. It still keeps my status. I'm just like, oh, that's kind of cool.
You're Elite in my book, KG.
I worked there for like 3 years. I deserve Elite status there.
There you go.
Cool. Thank you for the super chat again. Appreciate that.
I'm probably gonna have to roll. You can hear me. I'm probably gonna have to
no
roll. I gotta
problem.
get the kids. I gotta get the kids ready for practice. Gotta get ready for that thing tomorrow. I'm leaving, obviously, but yeah, it was nice to be on here, man. A couple cool days of chatting and talking about sports.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, I'll see you over there, Classy, and yeah, KG, I'll be texting you and all that, so we'll keep in touch.
Awesome. Yeah. Take it easy. Make sure you
All
put
right,
those
guys.
Instagram clips on of everybody having a rowdy time.
Oh yeah, I'll try to get some sweet pictures. But yeah, thanks everyone. Nice to see everyone. I'll talk to you later.
Have a safe
Later,
trip.
B.
All right.
See ya.
Thanks, man. Later.
Cool. Yeah, you guys are gonna have fun. I think that's gonna be an awesome trip. I'm gonna look for you
They're saying
can
that G-
let me know if you see a question. I'm gonna look through the chat.
I'm just saying that they're saying the G1's back to 43. That kind of sucks.
That does suck.
But I imagine it'll change again soon.
Yeah.
See, that's what I've been saying for a while. Like the prices will come down quite a bit to their Black Friday or near Black Friday price, and then they kind of work their way back up, just so they can drop them down again.
Yeah.
So-
Here's a trend I see every year, and it hasn't been any different for the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Every time before football season starts, they raise the prices back up on every TV. I notice that all the time. They always raise their prices back to what they were. So if there was a sale price, they'll put it back to what it was before. And then they could be like, hey, look, it dropped on Black Friday or another sale that they have before then. Sometimes they have that early Black Friday sale as well, or Black Friday in October. Sometimes they have that stuff. So yeah, sales are always unpredictable sometimes, but that's one that I always see go up in price during football season starts.
83-inch G1 or G2. I don't know if I'm thinking they didn't do the G series in the 83-inch because of the flat flush mount, and it probably would have been too much R&D to make a bigger frame. That's purely speculation, but that's the only thing I can think of that makes sense. Because like they had to make a new frame for the 83C1. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but the like even the HDMI layouts and everything is different on the 83C1. So if they had to do that with the better build quality of the G series and that mount, I think it was just going to be too much money, and that's why they went for the C series.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next one because I don't really have anything to add to that. But yeah, I think you're pretty spot on about that. Dan L says the A90J handles image retention well because of the heatsink. That's correct. And is it possible for the A80J to do better with image retention via a firmware update? I'm not quite sure that they can fix that with the firmware update. That's something that is probably related to the heatsink, and I don't know why it does it more on the A80J than say like the C1. I'm not sure why that is. I couldn't quite figure it out, but yeah, I don't think it's something they can fix with the firmware update.
Technically, they could by reducing brightness, which you wouldn't want.
Yeah, okay.
Because if you
Yeah.
kill the brightness on it, it doesn't have nearly as much image retention, and it actually increases the image retention when you increase the brightness with the service menu. But when you're just watching TV and movies, it's not a problem, because unless you're gonna like pause your movie and walk away for 5 minutes and come back, then you'll see it for 30 seconds or whatever. But does that matter? I don't know. To me, gaming or situations like that is where it matters.
Don't give Sony any ideas. We all know they watch our channels all the time. Apparently they pay us too, but I haven't seen a check. What else? There was another question. He said, I might not be able to bring this up on chat. I'll just read it just because I'm scrolling up on the other YouTube thing. It's sounding easier like that. He says, I have a 77-inch A80J in a movie room and a 65 A80J in the bedroom. Is exchanging the 77 A80J for a C1 worth it for the features? I just got into gaming on the PS5, maybe Xbox soon. Gaming 50% of the time. I might need to pull that one up.
Yeah, if you're going to keep that TV for a while and you're going to game that much, yeah, I would. Except I would actually recommend, if you can, push to the G1 in that case.
Yeah, especially if you're going to look forward to the future with Xbox and Dolby Vision gaming. That's something you might want. Like, I can't tell people right now, like, yeah, Dolby Vision gaming is going to be the future. It's what you want. I don't know. Like, we don't know. Maybe it's going to be really great, though. And you have to be prepared for that fact. If that ends up being a fact, you're going to kick yourself for not having Dolby Vision gaming in low latency mode. Because, yes, A80J has Dolby Vision in, you can game with it, but I promise you it's not going to be a fun experience because of the input lag. But then again, some people can game with input lag, which I don't understand. When some people are like, yeah, I have motion interpolation on, I have game mode off, I play all the games all the time like that. How? I'm like, how do you do that? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's just... See, I always recommend the G1 over the C1 for gaming if you can push it. Not just for the warranty, but... Yeah, the pure highlight brightness isn't going to be that noticeable, but the average picture level is.
Yeah.
Because as you get up to 50 or 75% screen area, those patterns are substantially brighter on the G1 than the C1.
Yeah.
So that's where if you're playing a bright game like Ratchet and Clank, for example, that's going to look significantly brighter on a G1 than a C1.
Yeah. That's a good point. Games definitely push the average picture level more than most regular TV content and movie content. So
unless it's an animated movie,
that's true. Yeah.
And then like when it comes to like even like Civil War, the airport scene, something really bright outdoors with lots of stuff going on. That's where that average picture level brightness. You'll see it there.
Yep. Yeah, I think that average picture level is kind of underrated sometimes, especially when we're talking about in the sense of an LCD TV. I think it's discredited too much. Like, there is definitely a difference between LCD and OLED when it comes to that. Like, you see it. It's bright, and the difference is really noticeable. It's just it's what you prefer still. Again, like, I prefer that. That's why I always have a hard time going away from LCD for gaming. So, but I don't always recommend it for gaming because God, I'm dying here. I don't recommend it all the time for gaming because I know that some people will like the OLED better for gaming because it's a smoother experience. It is. Like playing Call of Duty on a C1 compared to playing Call of Duty on the Q90T, it was much smoother on the C1, and that's because you have the instant response from the OLED, and then you also have the low latency, which the Q90T has that as well. So, but when you combine the two, the instant response with low latency, you have a really good gaming TV experience.
Yeah, and it's like for the four OLEDs this year, for the average picture level, the C1 is at the bottom. Then the A80J is a decent step up.
Yep.
The G1's a decent step up from that, and then the A90J is a little step up from the G1. So, that's where a lot of people discount the G1 or don't recommend it because they just see the price difference and they see the HDRs, 720 nits versus 780 or whatever. But it's that average picture level. The G1 can push almost to A90J heights, and the A80J 77 can get up there too. It's just it needs the service menu trick, which most a lot of people don't want to do or don't know how to do.
Yeah.
But spillage.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna go just real quick.
Yep.
I'll get the spillage after this. I wished the 48-inch was in the G family so we could have the 5-year warranty, since that would be more used as a PC monitor. The 42-inch is, and I'm targeting that as my second display. I wish it was in the G family as well, but not for the burn-in warranty. More so just because I would love that average picture level to be brighter. That would be nice for things like a desktop monitor. But I think it's a good display either way. For a monitor, and a lot of people that use it, you said it's pretty good so far, and I have a couple of friends that have it and they love it and they use it for music editing, and so
so I don't know how much you look into reviews for monitors and such, but typically most of them will want 200 nits for SDR, but they want it regardless of the screen area. Like it should be a consistent 200 nits for a monitor. I have a setting and figure out a way that I messaged you yesterday about how to get 200 nits full screen on the 48C1. So you can do that. There's no noticeable ABL. I can have a white window and drag the size and it stays the same brightness no matter how big it is.
Yeah. That's cool. You might have to make a video on that then.
I'm going to do a video on how to set up the 48 as a monitor. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. I'll be looking for that one. Let's see. You wanted to get the spillage. Let me find it.
Yeah, just gonna reshare those pictures again because he didn't see it. He just joined, and anyone else who just joined.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Go for it. I have it right here.
Yep. So this is how it was when I was first checking it. Also, if anyone wants a video on how to check for dirty screen, dead pixels, all that stuff, I can do that when I get back from New York too. So this is what it was. It was really bad. This is like the first one where I've seen this consistent across the whole screen, equal spacing. You see all the bars through the screen. And it still needs to get better, but with less than 10 hours and only 1 pixel refresh, it's down to this. The lighting in the room is different, so it's kind of harder to see, but you can still make out the bars. They're just probably half as visible as they were. And I think once I get around 100 hours with another pixel refresh, I don't think they're going away completely, but they'll go away enough that I don't see it in content.
Yeah. So you're not going to exchange that again?
No, I don't think so, because to get one that has no pink tint at all and no dead pixels and decently bright, I'll take 3 out of 4.
Yeah. See, I don't even know if I'm going to check mine. I'll be honest with you. I'm that kind of person. I'll buy something like unless I see it on regular content right away. And I know you said you saw it though, like, so I might check for it if I see it. But if I buy an LCD TV or an OLED and I don't see anything in regular content, you won't see me doing any tests on it, because as soon as I see it in a test, I'm gonna see it in regular content all the time, or I'm gonna act like I see it or pretend it's just gonna be there. Like dirty screen effect on my Q90T, I didn't see it at first. I didn't see it at all. And then I had a few commenters like, hey, can you run a dirty screen checker? I'm like, I don't really want to, but sure. And
See,
I
here's
did,
my thing.
and it ruined my whole experience. I was like, oh, thanks. Now I have DSE.
Yeah, it's to me, it's look when you first get it. It's in the return period,
Mm-hmm.
just so you know if you need to exchange it, because you don't want to be 6 months in and then see it.
Yeah. Crypto, I was talking about the Q90T that I have. And yeah, it has a little bit of DSE, but I haven't found an LCD TV that was a super clean panel. And if you have one, keep it and never let go of it.
And then PSG is asking about Q70T to Q70A for DSE.
Oh, okay. Where the heck
It was
is
just above Spillage Village,
Okay.
not far up.
It's not far up. Got timestamp?
Um,
I see it.
411. Yeah.
I need to return my Q70T I got for $999 because of clouding on the edges. What are your thoughts on the Q70A? So you can go, but I'm gonna say that you have a chance of getting that clouding on the edges on the Q70A as well. It's a really common edge lit or direct lit thing, but you can comment on the Q70A.
Yeah, it's called vignetting, and just about all LCDs are going to have it to some degree. The Q70A is what I would consider the minimum for a 120 hertz gaming TV. I don't think that I would pay 1,000 for it, but when it drops a little bit, then that would be like my go-to for a gamer who wants 120 hertz at the lowest budget possible. The Q70A.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna pose a hypothetical on you here. Let's go Q70A versus the Nano 85. They're both 120 hertz, and they both have the HDMI 2.1. For the same price, 65-inch at $1,000. Which one do you choose?
The Q70A, because it's a VA, not an IPS.
Gotcha. The G1 has no warranty in Canada?
Yeah, it's a US warranty.
Oh. Sorry,
Yeah,
Canadians.
that sucks.
At least you guys got Bret Hart in hockey. But yeah, no, I just and Drake. Let's see what else. They won the TV lottery. A90J, no pink, no banding. Nice. If I missed your question, ask it again. Just it's already scrolled up so much where I'm just missing things. But I'm gonna keep scrolling.
You still got to get going soon, so you had something at 4:30.
Yeah, it's actually at 5. I can get. I'm probably gonna leave in a little bit. Probably go for another 15.
Okay.
Let's see. You got anything you want to talk about before? Let's talk about the shootout. And everything that's planned then, because I think there's a lot of people in chat that probably don't know like what's going on.
You might as well
exactly.
highlight FNG right there about the A90J and TV of the year.
Oh, okay. Yes. Is this it? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. And it's not that I don't think it's TV of the year. Again, go back to what I said earlier about someone's definition of a TV. If your definition of a TV or what you want out of the TV is just pure the best image quality period, then of course that wins. I'm just saying, as a broad picture, someone has to buy one TV to do everything. The G1 is the jack of all trades that does everything well, versus the A90J that does all of this amazing, and then this not so great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's talk about that. The shootout. What day is it again?
Sunday, the 12th.
Sunday the 12th, and it's gonna be on
Spare Changes channel.
Spare Changes channel. Okay. And the whole thing is streamed, or what? How's that
Yeah,
work?
it starts at 9 a.m.
Okay.
It's gonna go
The
from 9 to
9
5 Eastern.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be walking around with my camera or standing around with my camera. And whenever something interesting happens, turn it on. Um, Maybe ask a couple people some questions. I don't know. Whatever I can film, I will, and then I'll put
Yeah.
it into a video when I get back. Um, so I believe the pass through remote channel will have the background. It'll probably be audio only, from what I understand from I was saying.
Hmm.
Just us talking about stuff,
Yeah.
whatever's going on, but not sure exactly how it's going to play out. So
Yeah. I can't wait. It's gonna be pretty cool. And I hope. Are you guys gonna do some sort of stream when you're there, or on Saturday, or?
that was, I thought, the original plan, but it looks like they're moving the stuff from the store to the city
Oh, okay.
Saturday afternoon, and then
Yeah.
they're just going to stay in the city overnight. So there's
Gotcha.
going to be nothing at the store that evening, like I thought.
Yeah. Dang. I was hoping for something like that, but let's see. Um,
Um,
are they doing projectors that day too?
no, that's Monday, and it's only the ultra short throw.
Okay. Gotcha. And are they going to be testing for gaming?
No,
No.
not as far as I know. No, they're. Remember we looked at 2019's. I don't remember seeing anything about gaming on it.
Ah,
It's possible that they do, but I don't see them actually playing games. I see them like maybe giving a scoring based on features or something. But again, I
yeah.
don't know. I kind of doubt they would do anything for gaming.
That's unfortunate. I think that like I would like to see a shootout that would let you do gaming at its full-fledged thing. Like let the LCDs go wild, let the OLEDs do the top that they can do, and just see what people think. You know, see what image people prefer. And I get that people are saying, well, it's not fair because the LCDs are going to be brighter, but that's just how they are. They're going to be brighter when you get them home too. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that would be something I would like to see it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I would love to see something like that.
You,
There was a question here from Crypto. He said, can you ask Classy if his X95J has DSE or vertical banding?
Vertical banding, no. I mean that's typically an OLED thing. DSE, very slight. The main thing it was the vignetting was the main thing I saw, but other than that, it was pretty clean. Again, it's possible that Sony has more consistently clean panels, but for my own personal experience, I would say it's hit or miss on all the LCD brands. And then when it comes to OLED, it's the same thing when it's the pink tint or the vertical banding. It's all of them. It's hit or miss. You have just as much chance, in my opinion, of getting clean or dirty panel, regardless what brand.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's this thing where it's like Samsung only has DSE. That's the only brand that has a DSE, and that's not true, guys. That's not true. Every brand has DSE or a chance at DSE. And probably every TV that you'll get has DSE. It's just whether or not how bad it is. That's the thing. Like, I don't believe that there is one company that's worse than it. It might seem like it, but I also say that there's a lot of people that buy Samsung TVs. So, and then you always hear the loudest people when it comes to that. You don't hear about the clean panels or the ones that don't bother people.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the more popular something is, the more it sells, the more you're going to hear problems with it. It's the same thing like with cars and their reliability.
Mhm.
But for me, the X90J was the worst. Well, one of the panels I had was the worst DSE that I've ever seen, with like 30 spots of just dirt behind the screen.
Yeah.
But then my QN90A, it had splotches everywhere.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I will say that I have less luck overall getting a clean panel when it's an LCD versus an OLED. But I have seen some bad OLEDs.
Yep. EHJ23, that's right. Go Broncos. He said, will the Z8H be in the shootout? Also, the 77-inch CX is 2800. Would that be worth getting or hold off to get the C1 or Sony OLED? This is how I feel about the C10. I think that the prices are going to be so close that you just should get a 2021 model at this point. I'm pretty sure that the C1 is going to be 3,000 on Black Friday, like 100% almost of that. It might even be a little cheaper, but at 3,000, I would bet on that. And then the Sony OLED, probably like 3,200 on that one. I don't know if it'll go any lower. Sony seems to be wanting to price a little bit higher than LG. I don't think they really want to match the 77-inch. But the 65-inch they have matched before, so it'll be interesting. I don't know. I wouldn't personally go with the CX in that sense, though.
Yeah, I mean, even at the current prices, I would just pay extra for the C1 at this point over the C10.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was seeing 2,700 for that C10 from Greentoe for like 5 months ago. So I wouldn't even say 2,800 is a good deal for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. I wanted to say people that have a Value Electronics around you or any sort of like local places, you could sometimes get some C1s for cheap. Somebody said they got a C1 77-inch for 2,700 out the door. And then another person said they got it for 2,500 out the door after tax. So I don't know where they're finding these deals, but Video Only sometimes does have stuff like that, and sometimes other local retailers. You just got to get lucky and call around. That's the best bet to do, is to call people, email people, say, hey, you got any deals on 77 inches? Because sometimes it's harder for them to move the 77 inches, so they'll have a little more wiggle room on those.
Yeah, and then like I said before, there's Cleveland Plasma, no tax unless you're in Ohio, and even then, I'm probably have to do that, but don't think there's a shipping charge, and it's usually hundreds less than whatever the current big box store is, and their warranty does cover burn-in for substantially less than Best Buy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And TechMed Rainer Richter with a super chat. Thank you. He says, thank you again for informative and entertaining show. Thank you for being here. That's what I appreciate. So he says, good night from Germany. It's 1:30 a.m. already here. Yeah, it's pretty late. Good night, man. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I think we all do. TechMed's a good dude. Let's see. Village. He says, I think I agree with Classy. The G1 will have a good showing at the shootout. Might fall short in best overall. Be interesting. I'm interested to see it. Also,
they do call it a tie if it's within a certain margin. I forget exactly how many tenths of a point or whatever, but if it falls close enough, they call it a tie. So I definitely would think there's going to be a lot of ties in the different subcategories. But again, I think the biggest one where Sony's going to just blow it out is the dynamic range.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I can't wait. I think that it would be cool to see an upset. I think it would be cool to see an upset. I want to see the C1 take it.
It's not even there.
Oh, dang it. All right, well, since the C1's not there, I want to see who's the underdog.
The Hisense dual cell. Watch that be the sleeper.
Oh my gosh. If that's the sleeper, community's going to go nuts. If that wins, everybody's going to go crazy. Hats. Yeah. Yeah, Crypto Color Lights. Thank you, man. Yeah, hit the like button if you guys haven't already. Thank you. We really like when you hit the like button. It's a cool thing. We don't talk about the 900H. We don't. We try not to.
No, we do. We need to.
Well, we do
spread the word so they don't repeat it, which they did with the 85J.
Right. Yeah.
So that's two.
True. Yeah. A fan of the 90J either, though. So.
But I mean, I'm just saying, at least the 90J isn't false advertising.
That's true. Yep. Let's see. The winners will be crowned King of 4K, King of AK, and King of UST. U.S. television. So that means
Ultra short throw.
oh, ultra short. All right.
Mhm.
I just guess, and I was wrong.
Yeah.
But Vizio H1 OLED owners, keep your chin up. Word from Vizio is there's a firmware coming up soon. That's good. Is there a firmware update to stop them from not having a black screen when I start up every Vizio that I have in my house? Because that's what I have. I have 2 Vizios and they all have black screens sometimes, and then I have to unplug them and plug them back in. So it's really hard to recommend Vizio, but I hear a lot of good things about the P series, and I do have to shout out Vizio for this. They have Dolby Vision on the M series, Dolby Vision game mode on the M series, which is pretty cool, and shout out to them for actually doing that. I haven't seen the P series this year. I want to. I thought about buying it. I just don't know how I feel about the brightness levels, and it wouldn't be a TV that I would probably keep. And I don't want to waste people's time with that TV, really. Because it does seem like a downgrade from last year, right?
I mean, it's not even so much that. It's if the 646 from TCL
Yeah.
is that much better, and there's like, is there a price difference? It's not much.
So do you think there's a chance for a 77-inch A90J next year? No.
No.
Because it will eat into their sales of the A80J. They don't want to do that. They won't price 2 panels the same usually like that. The higher end ones anyway. Not priced the same, but anyway, they won't put them together like that. He said, are LCD TVs bad whether it's VA or IPS? Let me hear the answer. You have to tell millions who own this type of TV. They're not bad. That's the thing. Like, they're not bad. I don't know why that would be the perception. They're not bad TVs. And sometimes, even IPS panel can look okay. Like the QNET 90. It's not bad. It's far from bad. It's just overpriced. That's all. And well, I mean, the price dropped a little bit on that, but still overpriced in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I like the QNET 90. I just think that there's other stuff. It depends on the use case and what you're looking for. If you absolutely don't want an OLED and you want Dolby Vision gaming, there's not a whole lot of options.
Yeah.
And then as far as like LCDs aren't bad, it's a technology, and there's other technologies, and they all have their use cases. VA and IPS have their use cases. Typically, IPS is more for monitors, usually because the pixel response is a little faster, and then on an IPS is going to have better viewing angles for color. Like, viewing angles don't just mean turning your head to the side. It also means when you're viewing the display and you're close to it, that it doesn't color shift, up here in the corner or whatever. And so if people are doing, color grading or something, they don't want to see that.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I gotta say that the QN85A, it's not bad either. Like, it's just that's a little bit overpriced as well in comparison to the QN98. You have that price difference gap. It's not huge, so I don't know why you would pay what you pay for a QN85A when you can just get a QN90A for just a little bit more. I mean, it's still a chunk of change, but it's not like a huge jump like going from the A80J to the A90J. And that's the thing that's why I have a hard time with the QN85A. It's not that it's an IPS. It sucks that it's an IPS, yes, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, it's not bad for an IPS. And there's, I guess on the subject of the 85-inch, that's not an IPS, that's a VA panel. And I seen that on eBay right now. It looks like from a retailer, I don't know how trustworthy this is, but $2,800 for the 85-inch QN85A. That's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal at all. So we're gonna go 5 more minutes. So if you guys want to ask a question, you have time to get a super chat in. We're also gonna just wrap up and talk about what we got going on coming up next. So like, I'm gonna start with that actually. You want to promote anything on your channel?
I kind of just been so busy with trying to get things ready for leaving and being gone that I haven't had a video in like a week. I'm gonna try to get something up tonight, whether it's the Q70A first video, but that might wait until I get back.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do one with the new camera. Even if I just like do a showcase of the 80J running content with a better camera, I might start there just to get a feel for it, because I'm gonna start shooting in Vlog and then have to um, move it into some kind of 3D LUT and try out different ones and just try to see what works best, what captures the most range, what gets the most accurate colors. So I might play around with that for a while.
Cool. That's awesome. Um, do you have any videos you're dropping before you leave, or?
That's something I'm gonna try to
Okay.
get one or two ready, but
Yeah.
I have a lot to do by tomorrow night basically. So when I come back, I got a lot of stuff coming. It's just
Mhm.
right now just trying to get everything ready for this trip. So
Yeah. I had a few videos that I wanted to put out, but I might have to re-record them. I don't know. We'll see. I have a lot of thoughts on a few different TVs that have come out recently or that are about to be out. I have strong thoughts on them, but they're not reviews, and I don't know if people want to hear those thoughts if they're not reviews. So that's why I have a hard time trying to figure that out. If I should talk about TVs before they're reviewed, I don't know. I think that you can kind of judge stuff a little bit prematurely sometimes, but
yeah,
when you look at specs, though, sometimes the specs are clear that it's not cool. Like if you look at the 43-inch QN98, I'm gonna talk about that on my channel. Very disappointing. That is very disappointing. I don't know if you've seen the specs on that, but
no, but I'm not surprised.
it's a 60 hertz panel.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
does do they specify if it's VA or not?
They don't,
I
but
would
I would
not
have
be
to guess it.
surprised.
Yeah, I'd
It's
have to
not.
guess it's IPS. I was so disappointed by that. Like I was really like saw 43-inch Q at 98, got really excited, looked at the specs, and I was like, no, no. They did what they used to did. What they used to do, where they downgrade their lower models in the size. Like 49-inch used to have 60 hertz panel, even though the 55-inch would have 120 hertz. Luckily, this year they did 50-inch for 120 hertz. But the 43, they're back to their old shenanigans, man.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, at the
So
very least, they
disappointing.
could just change the model number.
Yeah,
But
they could have. Yeah, because it's so misleading, man.
mhm.
And I think like no matter what you're a fan of, like if you're a consumer and you're a fan of any brand, that's cool. Like whatever. But like you still gotta call these companies out, right? Like, come on. I think that Samsung kind of dropped the ball. They just really dropped the ball with this. And yeah, I have some strong thoughts on that. Mainly because I'm disappointed in it for myself. I really wanted that.
Yep. Just real quick, X90J to X95J. There is
Yeah,
quite the difference. There's
huge
quite a
difference.
difference in the picture quality, but there's also in the build quality, the feel, off-angle viewing. So again, don't focus so much on the scores and the numbers.
Mhm.
The X90J was super accurate. The X95J super accurate. The measurements in HDR brightness is higher, but not incredibly higher. But I'm telling you, when you're actually looking at real content, it is much brighter. The XR processor is in both of them,
Right.
um, but there's the average picture level is so much higher on the X95J.
Hmm.
The uh, there's it's still not a lot of zones, um, but the X90J has so few zones that it
Yeah.
almost doesn't have local dimming. Like it's either 24 or 32 depending on the size, and yeah, there's definitely a bigger difference than what the numbers would suggest.
Yeah.
And then like the contrast ratio, because the zones are so big, and with the extra wide viewing angle or layer on the X95, like that's going to lower the
Mhm.
contrast measurement in native. But if you read the ratings review, they say if we measure it this way, it goes up to like 8,000 to 1. If we measure it this way, it's 20,000 to 1. And then, like, that's what I did. I measured it as low as, the same as them. It's like 3,000 something native, but it goes up into the 20,000s with local dimming and measuring different ways. And like, you read the paragraphs that they write. I mean, again, even with 60 zones on the 65, I think it's 84 on the 75 that they have, they say it's the best local dimming LCD that they've seen.
Yeah. And like, to say that if anybody's saying that the X90J doesn't have blooming, they're crazy. Like, I've seen it. They have a lot. It has blooming. It has just as much
Any
blooming
local dimming
as,
LCD will. Yeah.
right. Yeah. I have a hard time believing that the X90J would beat the X95J at pretty much anything. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't.
I don't know, man. It's interesting. A lot of the X95J overreactions that I'm seeing. Yeah.
But yeah,
Not-
the 90J is a good value pick. It's coming down in price. It's going to come down more in price. And for me, again, so I was saying earlier, the Q70A is like the bottom for 120 hertz gaming. The next step up is the X90J.
Right.
Like, so the X90J is not bad. It's just it's not the same level or performance of the 95, but it's also not the same price.
I'm gonna get to a few more and then we're out. Travis Sylvania says, what does Netflix Dolby Vision content look like on a Samsung TV? I think it really depends on the show. From what I've seen, it really depends on the show. Sometimes it looks almost the same, and in other shows it looks like it's a completely different color grade. I don't know why. It's
Well,
weird.
I think that has to do with what was HDR and just converted into Dolby Vision versus what actually is Dolby Vision.
Yeah. That might be a good way to see that, if you want to know what's native Dolby Vision and what's not. I plan to make a video on this, just because there's some shows that I saw that I noticed that's a huge difference. And then there's some where it's like, yeah, it's nothing. I don't see a difference. So I think it is what you're talking about, whether or not it was converted or not. And then really one more that I had, lost it. And then, this is a good point. If you get like a Sony or a Samsung and you need more HDMI 2.1 ports, there is a HDMI 2.1 switch. It works pretty good. You tried it?
Yeah.
I haven't had a problem with it. Yeah. And it's worth the money. I think it's worth the money. And if you need a review on it, I did a review on my channel. NFL game is starting. Yes, it is pretty soon, and I got to get going so that we can go to my brother's house to watch it. Let's see. And that's it. That's all I got for you guys. You want to say anything else before I go? I'm pretty much done here.
Yeah. Again, my content's going to be slow if I have anything at all before I leave. But when I come back, I have C148 videos, new camera videos, Q78 videos, the ADJ stuff, white point videos, calibration stuff. So there's super, super busy. And I really want to get the TCL, but with so much going on, it might get pushed back.
I am still on, but I'm about to leave. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. I might go live on Saturday, just like to talk about that 43-inch QN98. I was gonna do a video about it, but like I think I might actually just talk about it live. Questions if you, it might just be like a 30-minute hour thing that I do on Saturday. We'll see. But yeah, you guys check out the shootout this weekend. It's gonna be really awesome. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.